You know it and I know it as well. You don't get rich by sending thousands of outreaches or spending 1K a month on ads. In today's day and age, you get rich by mastering one single area of your business, and that one area is branding. A concept that, although people know of it, is largely misunderstood, and only the best of the best come out on top. That's why in today's video, I'm introducing the social funnel, a way to market that has revolutionized my entire company. It has gotten me from running after $2,000 clients to closing 5-figure paid in full deals within 35 minutes on the sales call, zero objections. I'm now going to break down to you my own social funnel and how you can implement that for yourself to be able to attract your dream clients and close them within 30 minutes, no objections, on paid in full deals. So we're now going to dive into exactly how I structure my own social funnel so you can go ahead and implement that for yourself, for your own niche, your own business vertical, etc., and you can attract high-paying dream clients that come to you, close within one call on paid in full deals without any objections. And we're gonna dive into my own social funnel here. I want to make this video very practical and very hands-on so you can actually see how I'm setting up all my accounts, how it works, what conversion mechanisms I use, how I go about ideation, scripting, cutting, editing, posting, etc. We're literally gonna run through every single tidbit of my entire social funnel right now so you can understand exactly how you can do the same thing for yourself. The first platform we're gonna dive into is YouTube. And YouTube, let me tell you one thing, is the most amazing platform to use whenever you're trying to sell anything online, especially service-based. Because nowadays, if you think about it, there's 3 different ways, fundamentally actually 4 different ways in which you can actually close clients. The first one is outbound, second one is ads, third one is content, and fourth one is referrals. Now, referrals isn't necessarily much of a system you need to build out. There's obviously things you have to do well there, but it's not necessarily the hardest thing to do. You just gotta deliver a good service. The other ones, outreach, as well as ads, as well as content, obviously they have different pros and cons. And I've actually made a video about that before. Fundamentally speaking, we as entrepreneurs need to think long-term. We need to think long-term over a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year time horizon. Where do I want to be? And how am I going to get there? And so when you start to think like that, you'll start to structure your life based upon that. And also the actions that you take in your business every single day. And so when we look at content and branding as a whole, I fundamentally believe that within 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, companies will receive funding, right? Will receive investors and get investors to invest in their companies through their social media profiles. And I fundamentally believe that because we are in a trust recession, if you haven't noticed yet. No client is willing to trust you unless they've seen 10 videos of you, got a lot of value already, and they're familiar with who you are, how you act, what your values are, and how well you do with your service, with your clients, etc. They gotta see proof as well. And so because we're in this trust recession and people don't necessarily trust you much anymore, you need to build a brand. And you've probably gotten this by now, so we're now gonna dive into exactly how you can actually do that. First off, YouTube. YouTube is the most important platform out of all of these for the simple reason that the amazing thing on YouTube is the subscriber count really doesn't matter and the views neither. Because if you post a, for example, 10-hour in-depth video that's very valuable and goes into deep insights for one specific target market, B2B based, high ticket, targeting enterprise leaders with companies that have more than 500 employees. If you do that, and you get 10 views, and out of these 10 people, 2 people watch through the entire video, that can make you so much money. So it's not about the views, and it's not about the subscribers, it's about the quality of people that watch it and how well you do it, the value you deliver, the way you interact with them, and the perception you create for yourself based upon that. And so YouTube is the most important platform, by far, in my opinion. So we're going to walk through that one first, and the other ones tie into YouTube and they are extremely important as well, but for different reasons. So YouTube, first of all, keep in mind everything I'm saying, this applies to my own business, right? The exact style of videos, the exact style of what I'm doing applies to my specific target audience, applies to specifically what I'm doing and who I'm talking to, who I'm providing value to, because I went through the same struggles. And so you may need to adjust this based upon how professional your niche, for example, is. If you talk to people that are 50 years plus and they've been in business for long, etc., this type of profile won't necessarily attract them. The principles I will talk about will for sure help you convert them, make more money, etc., build that social funnel, but exactly how I do it, it won't appeal to them. Because you need to keep in mind, when you're looking at your ICP and you're looking at your prospect, your ICP and prospects, they always think of you in a certain way. So say you're, for example, a marketer. Your ICP, your prospect, thinks of a successful marketer that is able to run a successful marketing campaign for them in a certain way. They think of you that you speak in a certain way, you have a certain background, you're dressed in a certain way, you have a certain lifestyle. Like, they have all of these beliefs around what type of person you need to be and what you need to look like and sound like when you're a good marketer. And so you want to make sure to match that. That's very important. It's a subconscious thing, but trust me, people subconsciously make decisions based around that more than you think. So that's the first thing. Very important. Understand your target audience and who they want to see you as. And then showcase that on your social media profiles. Now, what I want to dive into on YouTube here, a couple of things. First of all, the basic setup, and this is very important. You obviously need to have a banner. It's actually not that important. You can have it. As you can see right here, I have a banner that's more about lifestyle, so you can kind of see a couple of pictures of me, pictures of a couple of places that I've been traveling to, and that's pretty much it. For the banner, it doesn't really matter much on YouTube. You can literally do anything with this. Either go with a style like this, or go with a very simplistic style, for example. You can, for example, just have a black background and then write like 1, 2, 3 words on there, and that's it. And that's kind of what your brand is around, so people get that immediately. That's not really the most important thing. Then we have the actual description of YouTube. You can read through mine here. Again, this needs to appeal to your target audience. So read through the one I have. You can obviously take that, you can change it up for yourself. You can use AI, for example. Claude AI is a great software for that. To do that, I have it more professional, right? Because I know that with my company, I over time want to increase my average deal size within the next 6 to 12 months by like 5x to 6x. And so I need to target more professional people. I can't target 14-year-olds that want to start a dropshipping business, obviously, because they don't have the funds. And it's just not who I can help well. Who I can help well is people that are in between the ages of 18 to 25, sometimes up to 30. And usually it's 95% male audience. And it's people that run online service-based businesses, right? Coaching, consulting, agency, course, etc., because I'm very good at marketing and sales, and that's what I help people with. And also info products in my Done For You service. But essentially, this is what I do. Based upon that, this one is more professional. After that, you can obviously see links. Make sure to link your social media profiles here. It's super simple to do, but yeah, important. Now, we're now going to get into what actually matters most, which is the videos. The videos are incredibly important, okay? Obviously. And so there's a certain structure to this that most people don't get and most people also don't think about. But I want you to realize that this YouTube channel currently has 590 subs and it is making me a good amount of money. And that is for the simple reason that people build so much trust with me, my face, my value, etc., that it's almost too easy to convert people on sales calls, etc., right? So the structure of this is simple. There is a certain conversion mechanism on this actual funnel. So I have 2 different types of videos, or this is generally speaking for anybody, you as well. You will have 2 different types of videos that convert your audience the best. And those 2 videos are, first of all, VSLs, and second of all, it's actual case study interviews. And so the reason as to why those convert so well is because with those, either comes proof or value or both. And so if we look at a VSL is usually in between 30 minutes to 24 hours long. I don't know what the maximum upload time is on YouTube, to be honest. The longest VSL I have personally seen on YouTube was about 18 hours long. So there is no real cap to how long you can make it, but you should make it a minimum of like 30 minutes. That's the minimum. Because what you're trying to do in the VSL is you're essentially trying to walk people step by step through logically why your beliefs make sense, and you provide a lot of value to them. Okay, so it's in-depth value that makes them realize, damn, I need this guy to help me scale. And so in the VSLs, one of the most popular VSLs that are out there that you've probably seen yourself is the one that Iman Ghazi was using before, which was called the best online business model to start in 2024, the best online business model to start in 2025. I think he took it down by now, I'm not quite sure. But that single video was about 40 to 45 minutes long, and it had 10 million views. Now, obviously, when we look at YouTube and we look at people like MrBeast, etc., we're like, okay, 10 million views. I need you to realize that 10 million views in a more or less, in his case, B2B market is fucking insane. Like, the amount of money that can be made off that is insane. And he probably made 8 figures off that one video. And so these VSLs are incredibly strong and very, very important. I have a friend as well that I spoke to recently who has a video like this as well that popped off. It had like 630,000 views as a VSL, and it made him like $1 million in MRR. One video. Now, obviously, there's a lot that goes into this, specifically how you have to create the videos, etc., etc. But all of that we're going to walk through in this video, and so you're going to know it is the most powerful platform if you run an online business, by far, like, period. There comes nothing after YouTube, right? YouTube is the most important one. Everything after that, very important still, but not as important as the actual long-form content, because long-form content is what converts. And so YouTube is very, very important. So we want great quality views by our exact ICP, ideally B2B focused, because that's where the money is. I know people that get 2,000, 3,000 views on average per video, and per video they make 150 to 300K. And so we want to focus on lead quality. That's very important. Now, there's 2 conversion mechanisms, as I said, the VSL and the actual case study interview. The VSL, how you actually set that up is roughly like this. So I'll give you an example about that. In this video right here, you can, for example, see I'm diving into detail on specifically what I do for work, how I am running my business, what I would recommend people to do. Like, this is basically a 2-hour free course going into a lot of depth and providing a lot of value. That's essentially what it is, right? And so this is obviously highly converting because people see, damn, like, if I was to work with this guy, the results I would get would be tremendously better than if I was to work on myself. And so because of that, it makes sense, right? That's the first one, conversion mechanism. Now, how do you actually do this? I would recommend you, first of all, you always want to have an intro, right? So right here, you can see I have an intro that I filmed with my camera as well, which is the one that I'm filming this video on as well, for the simple reason that it's just, you know, it's more like a personal intro. People get to know exactly what the video is going to be about, etc., etc. I would recommend you give yourself a framework for what you're going to talk about in the intro. The most important thing here is that you need to make sure that title, thumbnail, etc., all fits one another. So I'll show you this right now. If we look at MrBeast videos, for example, this one is the one that I always use as an example. It's called I Spent 100 Hours Inside the Pyramids. With this particular video, what he was doing is in the first 10 seconds, he was validating what he claimed in the title. And this is how you have to do that as well. So you essentially have to create the title and the thumbnail before shooting the video, because then you're going to know exactly what to say in the intro so it suits and fits one another. People need to click on the video and immediately you need to tell them what the title and the thumbnail said and reconfirm that that's what the video is going to be about. If they click on a video because they like or they are intrigued by the title and the thumbnail, and then within the first 10 seconds, you don't actually show them that that is exactly what they're going to be getting in this video, they will click off. And so make sure to reconfirm what they believe they will get from the video in the first 10 seconds. So in this video, for example, I spent 100 hours inside of the pyramids. What MrBeast is doing is in the first 10 seconds, he is saying, I have unrestricted access to the 3 great pyramids of Giza, and I have that for, I don't know, 3 days, something like that. What he's doing there is he's not only reconfirming the claim of the title, but he's also putting the cherry on top. So he's not only saying, I spent my time there, he's saying, I have unrestricted access and no one has ever had that before. And so that's ideally what you want your first 10 seconds of the video to do. Reconfirm what the title and the thumbnail claimed and then put the cherry on top, because that's going to make people want to continue watching. So that's very, very important, first of all. That's first, intro. After that, you need to keep in mind that you need to actually put value into this. Like, you cannot just speak about generic things and then think that it's going to pop off. that's just not how it works. You fundamentally speaking have to make this very, very valuable, and you have to make it valuable for your specific ICP. That's very, very important, okay? So that's the actual VSL. Now the VSL can be done in many different ways. The first one would be as I did on Miro or Lucidchart. You would take an online whiteboard, an online flowchart, build it out and walk through it. It's very, very important that in these VSLs, you have some type of medium to support what you're saying, right? So for example, you could have keynotes from Max, or you could have PowerPoint, or you could have Miro, or you could write on an iPad, which is something I'm doing more often as well. I'm going to show you that in a second. But you fundamentally speaking need to have something that supports what you're saying, because people understand and take things in through 3 different mediums. The first medium is auditory, they hear it. The second medium is visual, and the third medium is emotional. And so if you can make sure that you hook people emotionally, you show them visually, and you make sure they understand exactly what you're saying, you will essentially make sure that every single person on this planet Earth understands exactly what you're talking about. And so these 3 mediums need to be hit. In addition to that, because you're diving into in-depth value, it's better for you and better for them to actually have some medium that supports what you're saying, because then, it's easier to understand for them because they can actually see something visually. And then for you, it's good because you have a framework that you can walk through, because it's easy to get lost. If you've ever tried to record a 2-hour video, trust me, it's easy to get lost. So make sure to have that structure. You can also use an in-person whiteboard for that. Doesn't really matter. But you have to have a medium to support it. I would also recommend you prepare it, right? In this case, for example, you can see that I prepared this actual Miro board for a pretty long period of time. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I'm walking through here, and it's a pretty big board. We can actually, there we go. As you can see right here, this is a big board. I took a lot of time to actually go through this and build it out so people would see exactly what they're going to be getting. I have a framework and they can understand it visually as well, so it's easier to understand. When people don't understand what you're talking about, they will click off, and this is very important. Whenever you're sharing value, you need to make sure that you share this value in the simplest form possible. That's also why in this video, I'm personally going through this practically and showing you exactly with my videos and with my accounts what I'm doing, because it's the most practical and easiest for you to understand. And so make your videos so simple in the language, the choice of words, etc., that a 5-year-old could understand it and then talk back to you about it. That's very important. So have a medium to support it. Put time into this. Most people think that YouTube videos, you kind of film them and then they go viral, which granted sometimes happens. But with these specific types of videos, especially VSLs, you need to invest time into this to prepare it well. It's very, very important. Thereafter, obviously, lots of different ways to go about this. For example, in this case, you can see me walking through an actual presentation. This would also be an example of a VSL, but this is actually a recording of a live class of mine, very valuable as well. You can see when you click on my account, there are certain videos on my account that are just super valuable. Like you can see right here, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and then this one as well, 1.5 hours. It's like in-depth classes that talk about exactly the advice that I would give people in this certain situation, etc., again, tailored towards my specific ICP. So that's the first one, VSLs. Those are very important. If you don't have a YouTube channel yet, or yours is still pretty small, the first video you should create right now is you should create that VSL, because that's the most important asset. Why? That's the conversion mechanism. That's what people watch, and then they are like, damn, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. This guy has value to provide. This guy can help me get to my goal quicker so I can pay my way to get there. And so this is the actual fundamental of the whole channel. It's the VSLs. The great thing as well is that you can use these VSL videos and send it to people as assets, right? Tell them, here's value about this, here's value about that. Obviously make it tailored towards their specific pain point, right? When you're in the setting process with someone and you know that their pain point currently is the quality of leads, then look for a video that specifically talks about how to solve that problem in their specific situation. Personalization always works well. And so if you have enough videos on your actual channel, you can send personalized videos to these people that apply towards their specific situation. Okay, so that's super important. That's the actual VSL. You can, as I said, also use the iPad for it. That's something I did in this video. It's not a VSL, but I did use the iPad to explain and bring my point home. But that's that. That's the first conversion mechanism. Second conversion mechanism is actual case study interviews. If you put those on the platform and you package it in a value-based style. So it shouldn't be you jumping on with them and them just validating you and telling you that you're such a great person and without you, I don't know, they would have never made it. That's not what it should be. What it should be is you hop on that call with them, they talk about their journey, they talk about what they did, where they were, so point A, and where they are now, point B, and what helped them most, and kind of talking about their experience as well with you and your service, but packaging all of that in a value style. So saying that this video is specifically for people to learn exactly how they can do the same thing as clients, right? And so those are the two conversion mechanisms. That's very important. Thereafter, we have a bunch of different styles of videos, okay? We have talking head videos like this one or this one. We have videos that's like podcast snippets that I had. We have videos that are vlogs, for example, when I was in Dubai. We have raw videos like this one where I'm just talking. I need you to understand that these types of videos, like the talking, raw videos, the podcasts, the actual vlogs, etc., all of these videos are videos to gain traffic. It's videos for traffic. It's not there to convert, and that's okay. And so you need to have both worlds. That's the first fundamentals. The next thing is you need to find your own style. So in this intro, for example, you can see that I kind of put my own style into this and my own way of doing things. And this benefits you massively. Your brand needs to be you. It needs to be authentic. It needs to show exactly who you are, how you tick, how you act, etc., what you believe, and the type of person you are, because people feel attracted towards people. I spoke about this yesterday because I'm in Belgrade right now with a couple other entrepreneurs. I spoke about this yesterday with a couple of guys, and I told them, in my opinion, you need to have such great branding that you want the prospect to want to work with you more than they want the result. Obviously, you're gonna get them both. But it's so easy to close someone when they just want to work with you rather than looking at the result. Because looking at the result, there's different options. Working with you, there's only one option. And so be authentic, show that, and make people like you because of who you are. Perfect. So that's a couple of fundamentals about YouTube. You need to invest time, you need to invest money, but it will be well worth it. Another thing that's very important, and you've heard this before, so I don't need to talk much about this, keep it consistent, right? I haven't been as consistent as I want to be on this YouTube channel yet, but now I am. Now I'm posting one video every single week, and it's only high quality videos because it's such a big cheat code, and it's benefited me massively. Next one is Instagram. Instagram is very, very important for two reasons. The first one, it funnels people into your actual brand. Because the great thing with Instagram and any other social media, by the way, as well, is that it operates as a nurturing mechanism. When you started out with your first online business, you probably sent outbound messages or you cold called people. So you did outbound, right? You did outbound sales. And so with outbound sales, you have to follow up with people. Now, when people follow you on Instagram and every single day they see your stories, they see your reels, they see your posts, they see you going here, there, doing this, that. When that happens, then it's very, very easy to nurture them without getting on their nerves because it's indirect nurturing. You're not necessarily nurturing them. It's not only indirect, it's also one-to-many. So when I post a story right now, I can probably nurture 150 prospects at the same time. To them, it doesn't feel bad because it's not like I'm getting on their nerves following up with them. And in addition to that, I posted once and 150 people see it, right? On average, I don't know how many story views I have, like 400 or something like that. It's still a new account, but you get the point. It's a nurturing mechanism. That's that. Now, a couple of things, very, very important. Profile picture. This needs to be optimized. The profile picture should ideally be high quality with a great background. Ideally, it should be in the moment. So it should be a picture that was taken of you without you directly looking at the camera. Those are usually the best pictures. As you can see in this picture, I have a great background. It's an in the moment picture. I'm dressed well, I'm smiling. Like this is pretty much the perfect picture. Something like that is what you should have as a profile picture. Then, obviously, as many followers as possible, duh. And make sure to have your full name in your bio. Just builds more trust, easy. After that, you need to have exactly either what you have been doing in the past, what you're currently doing, or what you will be doing in the future. And then below that, you should have a call to action. Currently, this is sign up to my brand partner class on May 21st. So this is essentially a live class that I'm running in about 8 days from now. And then people can sign up here and go on the landing page. So have a call to action right here. If the call to action is DM me the word blah, blah, blah to get this, then obviously it doesn't matter. But if it is to get to a link, obviously make sure to insert your link here. For the actual highlights, make sure to have 3 different types of highlights. Your life, so kind of giving people an insight into what your life looks like, what you're doing day to day, etc., etc. That's the first one. Second one is client results. That's very important. Proof is one of the most important aspects of this. And then the third one is value. So again, life, proof, value. These 3. You can also, in the life segment, insert things like your personality, your personal beliefs, etc., etc. People want to get to know you. That's something you need to understand. Your brand, all it's about is you. It's not about your value. It's not about the service you have. It's not about your company. It's not even about the problem of the prospect. It's about you. So not only provide value, solve problems, not only show your life, not only show results, etc., etc. Show your personality. Who are you? How do you act? How do you think? How do you believe? What do you believe? How do you make decisions? Show these things. Show your day to day. When you give people an insight into that, it's going to be much easier to build rapport because they will like you for who you are, okay? After that, and this is something that I'm not necessarily doing myself yet, but it's very important, your profile needs to be filled up. So right here, you can see 3 pinned posts of mine. Ideally, I would recommend you have at least 9 posts, at least, at the minimum. And so have at least 9 posts in place. That's very, very important, so that your profile is filled up. In terms of what to post, this again depends on exactly what your ideal target audience is, so make it resemble what they want to see you as, but make sure you only post 10 out of 10 pictures. Don't post pictures if you don't necessarily like every part of it. And so in my case, for example, you can see a couple of different examples here. I have pictures and videos of me, what I'm currently doing, kind of my lifestyle, etc., etc. I can go through this, a couple different videos and pictures essentially, right? This was a Dubai trip, for example. This was a trip to Greece last year, and this was a trip to Belgrade last year, which is actually the trip that I'm on right now again. And so just putting some pictures in there of stuff we did with friends, etc., etc. That's going to help a tremendous bit. So this is the style of pictures you want to have, right? And this obviously, again, depends on your specific target audience, but make sure you have pictures of yourself, pictures of you with, I don't know, if you do want to have family, you can do that. Otherwise, family, friends, etc., etc. That's very, very important. Perfect. So that's the actual account setup. For your reels, couple different things that are important on that end. In the beginning, you need to realize and keep in mind that when you're starting to build your brand, it's about volume. For the simple reason that when you go volume, you go wide, okay? You go wide with volume. And after you went wide with volume and there's a lot of stuff on your account and it looks real and it looks active, then you can build your pyramid on top, quality, right? But the pyramid can only grow huge when the actual foundation is like this. If the foundation is this, the pyramid grows like this. You get the point. So first fill it up, then quality. I'm right now in my quality phase, right? And that's very important. Another thing that I do want to say, don't underestimate the actual work that goes into this. I'm currently thinking about onboarding someone that's going to help me with my reels because I want to post more and at a higher quality, but it's basically almost impossible for me to do that without sacrificing other parts of my work, which I don't want to do. And so you either have to go and put in a lot of time into this, or you have to go ahead and pay for it. Simple as that. Good short form videos, usually for cutting, editing, etc., will cost you about $50 per video. Long form videos, the rule of thumb there is if it's a video in between 10 to 15 minutes, it's usually $150. That's euros. And then if it's in between, say, 15 to 30, usually you'll pay 250 to 300 for that. Again, that's not like low quality edits or anything like that. The next one is LinkedIn. This one is incredibly important, and I actually recently only started building this, but I have someone helping me with it that's been doing this for years and very good at it. And you need to treat LinkedIn like a landing page. Obviously, LinkedIn is a platform you should leverage when you do want to talk to more professional people that have more money, have more funds to invest, etc., etc. So Treat LinkedIn like a landing page, but obviously if you choose to go on the platform, be clear on why you're actually doing that. Like, why are you getting on the platform in the first place? What's behind that? And if it makes sense, go on the platform. Treat it like a landing page. So first of all, we want to have 3 different places on this actual LinkedIn profile that link to our actual lead magnets. So right here, one of the lead magnets is a free strategy call, right? So free one-on-one strategy call, link below. The first place where you want to have a call to action towards your opt-in is on the banner. The second one will be the link. I'm still going to create that. The second one will be the link where, again, call to action to an actual opt-in page for a lead magnet. And then after, you want to have it in the featured section as well. So right here you can see I recently started actively posting on this, and the views are actually going up as well. So it's a system that takes some time to pick up, but I only started posting on this about 4 or 5 days ago. Now the great thing about this is that you can convert a lot of this traffic. So a math example of this would be something like this. If we have, for example, around about 10,000 views per week on our posts, so 10,000 post impressions, you will probably have about 4% of those people actually clicking on your profile, which will be 400 people. If you have 400 people clicking on your profile, out of those people, about 1% will actually opt in. 1% of 400 is 4. So per week, you have 4 opt-ins. Now, based upon the industry averages and close rates, if the profile is optimized properly, it's big enough, and you're actually posting a lot of value, and you're doing exactly what I'm saying you should in this video, then you will convert about 28% of these people. So 4 times 28% over a month, that is about 4.2 clients. Now calculate that with how much money you collect per client. That's how much money you would make from the platform LinkedIn if you get about 10,000 post impressions per week. And that's not hard to do, because I started literally posting on this account like 4 days ago, and I'm at 1,000 now. So it's really not hard to do. That's a fundamental. For the about section, obviously build that out, still need to do that as well. But LinkedIn is something that you can leverage very, very well if done correctly, right? So again, call to action for the actual opt-in on the banner, in the link, and then in your featured section as well. From there, you need to make sure that right here, you tell people exactly who you are, what you do, and why you're better than anyone else. People need to see that immediately. It's like a landing page. A 5-year-old needs to be able to understand exactly who you are, what you do, and what benefit they have from talking to you, getting your service, paying you, etc., and why you're better than everybody else. That needs to be crystal clear. And so make sure to have that in your banner as well. Obviously, in this case, you can also take inspiration from the specific banner that I created. I think it looks quite good, and that's that. Make sure to avoid this one mistake, and this is a mistake that so many people make. In this headline, do not say CEO of or founder of. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to do that, because the first 45 characters of your actual headline is what's going to be shown on the preview of your profile. And so if you want the post impressions to click on your profile, it should not say CEO or founder of, because people honestly don't give a fuck. And so make sure that this talks about what? The actual dream outcome. Okay? This has to talk about the dream outcome. Talk about the dream outcome, and then if you want, you can then thereafter say CEO or founder of this and that company. Okay? Make sure to obviously get the verification. That's important. And just fill up your profile with everything that you need to fill it up with. That's LinkedIn. LinkedIn, again, is incredibly powerful if leveraged properly. Now, I want to give you an insight here. So I talked about opt-ins, I talked about lead magnets. How does this actually work? You need to create about 2 to 3 lead magnets. Those could be free strategy calls. Those could be PDFs. Those could be videos. Those could be Google Docs, whatever that may be. It has to be very valuable. That's very important. You need to keep in mind that people always judge you, your service, and your company and your offer and how good what you do actually is and the quality of it. They judge it based upon the experience they've had with you before. So if the experience in the setting process, in the opt-ins, if the experience with the lead magnets, with the video material, etc., has been nothing less but amazing, then they will assume the services as well. And so because of that, you need to make sure that these lead magnets are top notch. Like, they have to really hit the point home. And if you can do that, they will assume your service is as good as well. And that's how you get these high conversion rates on the warm outreach to the leads that opted in. And so create 2 to 3 lead magnets, then obviously put them in the featured section, have the call to actions everywhere, etc., etc. When people opt in for the lead magnet, collect their name, email, phone number. This is very important. Do never, ever, 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 ever give away the lead magnet in the chat, send it to them, and then just pray and hope that they get back to you. Don't do that. Collect their information and then do warm outreach towards them. And based upon that, you will have, if you do everything I say, you will have a very high close rate. As I said, currently, what I'm looking at is 28% close rate on warm outreach to people that have opted in, okay? So that's very important. That's lead magnets, that's how to set up the profile, etc., etc. Obviously, everything else that I said about the different platforms before applies to this as well, right? Make sure you have a high quality profile picture, should be in the moment, blah, blah, blah. You get it, right? Very important. Great platform to leverage, would recommend you get on there, do that. Easy. Next one, Facebook. This is the last one that I want to dive into in today's video. There's obviously so much more that these things tie into, but this is like the basis. This is like the fundamental things that you need to have in place to be able to build your social funnel the right way and to be able to make a lot of money from that. So on your Facebook profile, the amazing thing is that you can befriend your ICP and then get more recommendations for those exact people again. Every social media platform works like this, but on Facebook, it's specifically strong. Make sure to befriend your exact dream clients every single day. Send out 5, 10 friend requests and connect with them more. And over time, you will get so many recommendations of perfect leads. It's going to be amazing, okay? For the actual Facebook profile, everything I said before about Instagram, LinkedIn, etc., how all of that is being built out applies as well. Use this for a lead source as well. Connect it with your Instagram so you can cross-post, makes it a lot easier. And I'm getting very good lead flow from Facebook, just doing warm outreach and engaging people with the account because of the actual friends list. So that's so far. So that's for the most part everything that we're going to go over today for the actual social funnel. This is probably one of the most important concepts in today's day and age when you do run an online business. And if you haven't yet taken advantage of this, you're leaving thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of money on the table, because this is truly what it takes to sign clients. They need to trust you. So if you build out your actual social funnel the way in which I talked about, it's going to be incredibly beneficial for you, financially speaking, and for your company as well. If you do want to know exactly what I do for a living, how I make my money, how I run my businesses, and what it is that I do in the first place, make sure to check out the first link in the description. It's that exact VSL that I just showed you, 2 hours long, in-depth value. It's going to help you a lot. And also you don't have to opt in or do anything like that to actually get it. It's 2 hours completely free. Go ahead and watch that right now if you do want to do yourself a favor. Again, first link in the description. If you did find value in this video, leave a like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, make sure to put those in the comment section right now, and I'll see you in the next video.